two of them come down there, take out some of the tree limbs and signs.
So are they tractor trailers or like moving trucks or?
No, like full
Definitely tractor trailers,
Yeah.
18-wheeler tractor trailers.
Full
Washington Street?
on Washington Street.
Coming out
And-
onto Chamber.
Coming out onto Chamber, they already took out one of the stop signs out on the end of.
Oh, no, it's okay, I just was kind of.
They already taken, one of the tractor trailers came down and took out the stop sign from Washington to go on to Chamber.
Okay.
And I just want,
So what I will do is I will forward this over to the chief of police.
okay,
Okay, can we make sure? Vice President's the liaison to the police department, so we'll make sure that it is forwarded over to the.
yeah, because I told them they can't come down there, but they said it's on the route
Okay.
coming through there, I don't know.
Well,
Must be FedEx.
No, it's like regular tractor trailers.
well, maybe they're out, but that's not allowable. We will reach out to the chief of police and try and get some more enforcement in your area.
Okay,
Does that help?
yeah,
All right.
all right, thank you.
You're very welcome. Is there anyone else?
Melissa Paulus, 26A Glen Avenue. What is the function of the governing body?
Is that a trick question?
No.
No. So the
Serious
function-
question.
I know, I'm teasing.
I know.
So the functioning of our governing body is purely legislative. Yes.
Okay. We are all aware of the issues here in this town. You guys are doing your job. Obviously, you're here. The times that the meetings are scheduled, whether it's, twice a month with the work sessions, you're doing your ordinances, you're passing your resolutions, you're listening to us. The failure of this town is with the administration. Whether people like it or not, they have to understand that this is the reality of Phillipsburg. What are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? I mean, look at what happened tonight with the police department. I mean, Lieutenant Motzko said he has been trying to get this done. Mayor Ellis says, oh, yeah, didn't I send you that document? Oh, no, you said, no, I don't have it. And then he hands it to you the night of a meeting? I mean, I know you have nothing to do with this.
No, if I may, I'd like to clarify. The document that he handed me was an email that he did send me, but it was not what I had requested, so it had nothing to do with it.
Wow.
I'd be more than happy. I wrote on it, but I'd be more than happy to give it to you.
No, that's okay. But the point being is that I've sent him numerous emails that he blatantly refuses to acknowledge. I've copied all you guys on the emails. I know you're getting them. So today, I submitted an OPR for his email account. Because other times he has said that he's never gotten the emails. I know he's gotten them, unless he has me blocked. Hence, I OPR'd his block list. So, again, anybody who says that the council is the problem, council isn't the problem. You're showing up, you're doing your part, you're doing everything that you possibly can. It's the administration that is not. I do believe past Councilman, President Todd Tersigny said they worked out a deal to get the cops out of that building. They had everything done. Who failed to do their job? The mayor. The mayor doesn't know how to follow through with anything. That's the problem. So again, I believe our hands are tied for another 121 days.
Thank you, Ms. Pauls, for your comment. Name and address for the record, please.
Lisa Lakaruba, 1805 Springtown Road, Alpha. I am here because I was wondering if you could provide clarification for something. So, the residents of Alpha voted to demolish a pole. The council, Alpha's council, voted to demolish a pole. And I am hearing discussions and conversations about Phillipsburg and Alpha somehow combining finances,
Shared services.
shared services for the pool. would you be willing to elaborate a little bit on what is happening? If there is still active discussion, is it no longer active discussion? I like to put rumors to rest, so
Sure.
would you be able to do that for me?
I would, but I believe that Councilwoman DiGirolamo would be more excited to clarify for you. Would you like to?
There's nothing before this governing body regarding any shared service with Alpha for a pool.
If you're asking
That
if
was a
we
simple
were,
answer.
you're right. If you're asking whether or not we were invited to the table to discuss a shared services agreement, we were. At one point in time, we had thought about entering into such agreement. We had a discussion with CFO Merlot, who had advised against it. Since then, no discussions have taken place. Those discussions had ceased in 2018, December of 2018.
Okay, so as of right now, for the record, there is no
No, ma'am.
active involvement or discussions or, oh, none, okay. And what's the terminology that you used with Alpha? Was it actually shared service? Were the words shared service used?
I know that I used it in my terminology. I couldn't recall if they had used shared services in their agreement, but I know that I had used the terminology, yes.
Okay. Were there ever, okay, I guess that's all I wanted to ask. Okay, so the answer is no.
Nope, not at all.
Thank you very much.
And you're more than welcome to email me anytime, as I'll be more than transparent with you, give you whatever you need.
Thank you,
Very welcome.
thank you. Have a good evening.
You too, thank you. Is there anyone else? Your name and address for the record.
Yes, hello.
How are you?
Okay, fine, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
My name is Amal Khalil. I am actually in Jersey City, live in Jersey City.
You had quite the drive.
No, I retired from U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I've been an accountant there for like 27 years. I bought that property here in Phillipsburg as an investment. It was vacant and disturbed. And I started, this is in May last year. Then I started to develop like cleaning up, and I hired a contractor to do everything. They just finished the work recently. What happened is I bought this house on May last year. In June, I found out that I got a violation. They asking me to pay like $2,000 for cleaning out the gas and the weed outside the property. I know, just in May and June it was, with the rain, and the weed came out a lot at that time, maybe, and I wasn't aware of it. I live in Jersey City, so, but they sent me a letter to come like in 10 days to do everything. When I came, I found a couple of guys like doing some stuff. But at that time, I was hiring people already, and I paid like around $1,000 to clean up around the house. And the same thing, I just want to waive this public work invoice for $2,000 because I'm paying a lot already to clean up and make the house very nice. It's that house located in 358 Hickman Street. It's a one-family house. Actually, this is like has 3 corners, and I don't have any neighbors very close by. What I found out that somebody made a complaint, and I think this is the neighbor who think that he can, buy the property. I don't know who, filed a complaint. But this house was vacant for like 2 years. So I'm just wondering why they give me this invoice. They say like 9 hours of labor, $100 each hour, $900. 9 hours a pickup truck.
Right, we have
$50.
it. We do have it.
You have it, $450. And total of 2,000. So I'm just really, I wish if somebody, you guys, that's why I came today, I stayed over, so I can meet you guys and try to give you my complaint. I have it can, it's money for me, that's $2,000.
So ultimately, you're asking us to remove the $2,000 balance? Is that what you're asking? Or some type of reprieve?
$2,000 is a violation for me, yeah. I wish we can waive it.
So council, it looks like what we have before us is a lien Public Works invoice 2018-71 for the amount of $2,000 for the cutting of grass, weeds, and removing debris from the property of 358 Heckman Street. Before I go into my personal feeling on the issue, I will ask the rest of council how they feel. Councilman Lutz.
The work was done on 7/20. You got a letter on July 26th about the property. And we have everything here that shows what they did and everything else. And I just don't know what to do here. It's very hard to decide, because if we do for one, we gotta do for all. That's my problem. And it looks like they gave you enough notice to do something with your property?
The notice was like 15 days only, and I am in Jersey City, and it's too far for me to come.
That's why you buy a house here in Phillipsburg.
No, I called a few people, and they worked on it already. When I came here, I found people,
Well, I don't think they would just go out and hit your house and spend 9 hours on your property for nothing. I mean, we have a lot of other things to do in town.
I can see there's a lot of money for me.
Well,
but just
that's the way it is, and the lien is already against your property.
Yeah, I called and I think
Yeah.
Mr. David, I think I sent him an email about that, so just a long time ago.
Yeah, the date was 7/5 that they did work. So, I feel sorry for you,
I'm
but
just
we all
wondering
have to,
about the...
we all have to keep our properties up. That's what they're there for. If somebody gave you a complaint, they're only doing their job. And they wrote you letters and everything like that to justify their actions. So I don't know
I didn't
what
know that they're gonna charge me like $2,000 for like,
that's the rate of doing
they
things.
say like hours for each hour 100 than...
Well, that's for how many men?
Ma'am, I understand. If you just give us 1 second to get through the entire governing body, I'll be more than happy to give you
So,
another opportunity.
That's my feeling,
Okay.
okay?
Okay. I wish if you can use it at least,
Thank
Sure,
you.
it's okay. Just give me 1 second. Please stay right there.
Oh.
Okay, Councilman Davis?
Sure. Ms. Cleo, thanks for coming in, and I wasn't receiving your email. We didn't take any action on that because we have the testimony from the Public Works Department and from the Code Department about what they witnessed, and it becomes a hearsay about what was actually done. So are you disputing the work that was done? Are you saying that they did not complete this work at the property?
I didn't see it, no,
Okay.
just, I didn't notice it that much because other people were working, other contractors working, and I paid them also.
Were you in receipt of the letter from the Code Department prior to the work being completed?
Yeah, I was in Jersey City and I received it, and by the time I called the contractor and give me time to clean up and stuff,
did
was
you
maybe a couple days after the dead end.
Did you reach out to the Code Department to let them know that you were employed? Did
Yes.
you called the town and told them that
I
you had
did.
someone coming?
Yes, I did.
Okay. That would be my only qualifying concern, is that if Ms. Khalil did represent that she had the work being completed and gave a window for it and was still completed on her behalf, I think that's something we can probably make a motion to request testimony from the Code Department on, see if they have a recollection of this event. Because if her testimony is accurate, then we probably should not have completed this work on her behalf. But we will need to investigate that. I'm good.
Councilwoman?
Thank you.
I'm good, thank you.
Council Vice President?
You mentioned, I was trying to follow, you mentioned something was vacant for 2 years.
I think so.
What
yeah.
was vacant for 2 years?
The
This
house.
property?
Yes, I think it was vacant.
Your property?
No, it wasn't mine. I bought it.
That's what I was trying to follow,
I
okay.
think it was, when I bought it, it was vacant.
And when did you buy it?
I bought in May 2018.
Oh, so shortly thereafter, so
Yeah,
after
so
you...
1 month after I bought it, I got the violation, like 1 month only.
And you said you were starting to do work on it, correct?
Yeah, yes, I was starting, and I had my
And it was,
contract.
you spent $1,000, did I get that correct? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I can prove, and I spent so much, like 1,100 for cleaning up, for outside only. Now I spent so much for, I made the new roof, $12,000. I fixed everything inside for a lot of money. So now it's a beautiful house, but still have a lot of work to be done outside. Fences, the fence supposed to be done.
Is it occupied right now?
No, it's not occupied right now.
All right.
I just come to visit, come back and forth. To watch out about the contractor. I've been working for environmental, also for like a planning division for US Army, Corps of Engineers, like for 27 years. So I'm aware I don't like to get violation for something like that. So
Understood.
I was really.
Councilor, I also echo Councilman Davis's testimony of
And I'm senior, by the way. I am 72 years old.
Recollection of the...
You're 72 years old?
Yes, sir.
Man, I wish I had your genes. I'm good. God bless you. God bless you.
This is my investment, first investment for me, so I'm trying to see this house nice.
So, council, I'll be honest. I have no problem discontinuing the lien, and I'll tell you why. Which is unlike me. You've ever been to one of these council meetings before. But we've set a precedent in town, and I had spoken earlier this week with our administration, and if we are going to plow private lots and not invoice certain, I'm not speaking to you, I'm speaking to the governing body, if we're going to plow certain lots and not invoice them, and which they are considered private property, how can I, in good conscience, ask this woman to pay me $2,000 on behalf of the town when she's essentially in the same boat? She's a private owner, she owns the property, and we went out and cut her grass. Now we cut the grass at this other private organization and we don't invoice them. So I am willing to accept anything the governing body puts forward. The only thing I will say is I will vote no to Ms. Cadell having to pay this bill in any shape or form. We need consistency in the town of Phillipsburg. And I will say, ma'am, if we did not undertake this practice, if we did not plow a private organization's parking lot, and if we did not already set the bar, I would vote in favor of you paying for this ordinance. But because we haven't, I have to maintain consistency. Because what's fair for one is fair for all. So what I would ask council to remove the lien, but I also have both gentlemen to my left and to my right who wish to grab the testimony, and I believe you said at DPW, correct?
Who did you get in contact with when you called? Or did you write? Did you call? Do you remember?
No, I just wrote this letter, and I think, I don't know who I contacted, the clerk maybe, or, yeah, they told me about public works to get this invoice.
Okay, but prior to the invoice, did you, between the complaint and the invoice, did you contact them to let them know the
Yes,
work
I
was being
came here
completed?
a couple of times to the city hall and talked to some people about this violation, and I said, I hope I don't get lien on my property because of it, and try to, to create it.
So then I will make a motion to request any communication or memorandum thereof from the Code and Public Works Department. Of course, this will be to the attention of the mayor for any contact that had happened referring to this property and this work that was done.
Councilman, if I may, in the meantime, would you be willing to also include in your motion the suspension of the fees for the requirement?
We have to rescind the lien.
Yeah, the statutorily, the lien accrues interest. So, rescind it or not.
So, I mean, so there is a motion on the floor. I want to respect the process, so there is a motion. If there's a second, we can go ahead and vote on it, but I have my own feelings, so.
Is there a second?
The second was just a request information.
Yes.
I'll second.
Let me just say something. I know Paul Smith and I know the code department takes pictures of everything they do. So why don't we request the pictures on that date? And then we can go from there.
Yeah, I think this would be any information we have about this particular case.
Any further discussion on the motion before us? Roll call.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Council Vice President McBeth?
Abstain.
Council President Whitmore?
I too will abstain. So the motion, ma'am, so you understand, the lien for the time being remains. It does accrue interest. It will come back before this governing body. They had asked for more documentation from the administrative department, from the administration, excuse me. There is still a good chance we can rescind this lien or keep this lien. What I would do is, you drove all the way up here from Jersey City, yes? How far of a drive did you have?
How many times? What'd you say again?
Okay, so you're coming up to the, how many, 65 miles?
Oh,
This evening?
65 miles, yes.
65 miles,
Yes.
good. Okay. Before we require you to come back, we will notify you, okay? In the meantime, my personal advice to you is don't pay the lien. If it gets...
Let's not make that advice.
No.
We're not lawyers, it's
Oh,
not legal advice.
Well, my personal advice.
Yeah.
It's my personal advice. Because of truthfully, my personal advice would be you should have called the administration, asked them to cut the grass for you, and probably would have went out and did it. That is my personal advice. Legally, I understand where the council's going. The council's going with it and telling you that you should pay it. But, hold on. Well, let's see what
Want
we
to
can...
offer a little bit on the green?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It'll come back before this governing
I don't
body.
have that much money because I already spent so
Right.
much on the house
Right.
for everything.
In the meantime, are you still, you're cutting the grass though, right? Are you shoveling the snow?
I have to.
Okay, as long as you're shoveling the
I
snow.
always put contractor and so I just called Don. He is a landscaper and he did I give him $300 to just cut the grass. This is just like one time.
$300 just to cut the grass?
Yeah, I don't know.
My son's looking for a job. Nah, deep.
Oh, no,
Okay,
he got some, toiletries and stuff.
we will be in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else?
I just have one question. I just have one question. We can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Turn the button on.
No, never mind. There we go.
Now you can hear me breathe. I just have one question. And it came to light with the handicap disabled parking ordinance that came up tonight. What is the process of renewal for a handicap spot when one has already been issued? I know that it comes before and there's a resolution, you guys passed a resolution last year, 2018-75. But what is the process of paperwork or something like that that someone has to do to
So-
their application?
That goes to the clerk's office.
Well, it actually goes to the Public Works Office.
She's just deferred that.
The letters come in, every year by December 31st, they're supposed to send their renewal letter in as they're still interested in having the handicap parking spot. And they send with that a copy of their placard that they have on file and a copy of their disabled permit. And then they go on to resolutions.
Okay. I kind of took it upon myself to look into some of the addresses and names that are issued, spots in town. And I know on-street parking is a premium in town. It's ridiculous. And it's absolutely frustrating when you live on a street where there's a handicap spot and the person has passed away and the spot is still there, and it snows and but the spot is on the list for the town resolution that was passed in 2018-75. I actually went through the list, and you have 18, just with a simple name Google search, I came up with 18 obituaries, some of them from 2016. So
Somebody must be putting a letter in for that spot with that, whatever the placard is for that spot, because sometimes it's not just the driver, it's some family member that has the placard. But if they don't do it by a certain time, they start taking them down. And then people will come in and say, here's my stuff, and then they put them back up.
Well, I can pass this on to you guys. I mean, it was just a simple Google search, but I mean, it's frustrating. And no offense, but if something this small is slipping through, it's just frustrating in town. Sorry, guys.
No, that's okay, I understand. That doesn't actually fall in the legislative body, so you're not offending me.
I like that.
Sorry.
I like that.
Can you give it to Clerk Klein? Would you mind?
Ms. Timmerman, are you done?
Okay.
Is there anyone else? Seeing none, we will go ahead and close the public portion. We now have council open time. Councilman Lutz.
It's getting late. No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Amen.
Councilman Davis.
I'm good.
Councilwoman DeGirolamo.
I've been quiet all night, so I'll go now. Two things, just one is an update. Last week, we had NIMS training, which was incident command training at the Warren County Governing Officials Association. And I have to say, it was actually one of the best sessions I've attended locally. It was over 3 hours of training. The gentleman who presented was very, very good. What they explained to us was the importance of emergency situations locally and why it's important for your officials to be in the know. And they went through the order and the chain of command. And it's something I listened to Council Vice President McVeigh talk about for years. And I just kept listening, and it was like having Council Vice President sitting right next to me. But the first thing they talked about was the order of command, and fire, police, mayor, council, public. Every time. That's the way it's supposed to happen. Fire, police, mayor, council, public. Because when council gets a call, the public calls us for answers. And if we can't give them good answers, it's not good for the public to get bad information. So I can speak for the last year only. I've never gotten a phone call when there's an incident in town. Not once. I read the police report. I was stunned to see the crime levels because, to be honest, we've never gotten a call over a major incident, fire, or major catastrophe in town. To date, I've not gotten one. Not one text, not one email, not one phone call for any emergency in this town in a year. And I know we've had them. So I think that's something we need to at least request the mayor when he's notified by fire or the emergency or any of our emergency responders, primarily the police of an incident, I request that he takes part in that because it is part of the national standard. So, secondly, I had this prepared last meeting, but I didn't go through it. A few things. Reflecting on our first year. So in 2018, I feel this council did an excellent job laying the groundwork for many things that are going to happen this year and beyond. So a lot of this you started seeing in 2018. Groundbreakings, demolitions, new construction taking place. From April to October, I know I kept hearing constantly that no business is going to come to Phillipsburg because of the way council was behaving. Then in December, wow, places were opening up all over the place. Sadly, council was not informed of any of them. Second, I asked for an inspections report on 8 Hearts in July. Because of the conditions of it, we were told there's mold, we were told the roof is leaking and there's water throughout the building. I still don't have it. Third, I asked for an Oprah request due to lack of information from the Urban Enterprise Zone office when I sat on that board. And I also asked that from the state to work on resources for our local businesses. Most people know I'm a businesswoman and I'd like to have a better working relationship with our businesses. I saw this as a way to get that information. Believe it or not, I've called the clerk's office, she's aware, I've called the county office. There's absolutely no resource of all the local businesses operating in Phillipsburg. So this was the only place I could find to do. As a council member, I shouldn't have to Oprah request much of anything. But I did, because I didn't get the information I asked for. So I was politely forwarded to call DCA if I didn't like that answer. So I did. And the League of Municipalities attorney, as well as the New Jersey State DCA, concurred last week with what I asked for, that I'm absolutely 100% entitled to it. So I'm expecting to have that this Friday. So we should be able to fulfill that reimbursement to the Urban Enterprise Zone. There's been a failure to communicate from the town appointed boards to our councils and the mayor's office. Emergencies, as far as I know, like I said, there really haven't been any. We have 2 historical groups in this town. One is a town appointed board. To date, we haven't heard about one meeting. And they're establishing the historic structures in this town and what we're going to do with them moving forward. I've tried to assist in funding for the library. I haven't gotten a response in 5 months. We just got an audit today. This was a significant amount of money they came before council looking for. We worked with our freeholders. The response from our freeholders was, we're not getting responses from your governing body. We had some appointments made on our local bodies. It created a lot of conflict for this council because it greatly limited our ability to perform and assist all these boards and organizations. All these organizations serve the public. I expressed that I was very disappointed with the way 2018 went. To have progress, we have to have clear standards, we have to have consistent enforcement, and most importantly, we have to have constant communication. Council President will attest, I am an over-communicator, probably ad nauseam.
She's doing it now.
I'm doing it now. Acceptance and enforcement of legislation were constantly met with resistance in 2018. I had high hopes that was going to change this year. We started out better the first 2 weeks. It's gone a little south. We, and when I say we is the way we need to start speaking, not I, not the mayor's office, not the council, it's we have to do better. We have let the people down in 2018. A local landlord told me when I was elected that I should read the book Raving Fans. He said it was our absolute biggest problem in this town. He comes to town and he leaves disappointed. He's absolutely right. Because if he's not happy and leaving here as a Raven fan, neither is anybody else that comes to this town. So this goes for all of us. We're really not doing our jobs if we're not creating Raven fans in town. And we need to start. All of us. We can do better. I know I keep trying every day to get better and better because Phillipsburg deserves it. That's all I have. Oh, no, it's not. As part of that, I promised, and it's a draft. I created a newsletter. So I'm going to do it on behalf of council, and I'm going to ask council to read it for content. And I'm going to ask for public input on it, and I don't know where it is, it's here somewhere. I'll have it up here. It's 7 pages long, but we felt it was time to start putting out a council newsletter. It's called the Phillipsburg Times. So you will be seeing that come out from me probably the next meeting. So.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Council Vice President.
Bravo, Councilwoman. Magnificently said and stated. I want to touch on two things because it's more or less doing the public petitions when the folks come up here, the residents, and I just want to follow up with that. The Walters Park sign, I'm a big sign guy, it's documented, the films are out there, how I felt about it, and through UM is how I introduced the Walters Park sign and my frustration over it. And if you go on our website, there is a rolling picture of the old beautiful green sign, and it's the saddest thing I think I actually can look at. And I hope someday it is returned, or a new one, or a replica of such same, and more of a reduction of the brown pieces of wood throughout our town. Much centered around Officer Vandergrip's Black Bridge, which alone should have our Phillipsburg officer recognized and not be surrounded by brown wood. Second, another citizen came up and discussed about the role of our governing body and what we do. And I sense that frustration, and I understand it because we all get asked a lot of different things. Every day I try to treat it like Groundhog Day, Bill Murray's Groundhog Day, because at the end of the day, most of us, we're blown apart by just communication and trying to balance things through our personal and professional lives and what's going on in town. But we answer the emails, we answer the calls and texts the best we can. Maybe not in real time, but most of us try to get back to you. I open myself up. It's really an understanding. I think a lot of folks, and I'm still learning myself, and I'm blessed with Vicki and our counselor, and Stan Schreck, that teach me every day. And as I go along, I learn it out. But what are really the roles and responsibility of the bodies? And a lot of folks kind of mix them up a little bit. And because we are so attentive, some of the responsibilities of one office may spill into another. If you want to talk about it, reach out to me personally. I would love to try to explain it as I'm learning along with all my members here up on the dais that teach me all the time. But it is clearly delineated, and sometimes we try not to tread too much on this side, and I'm sure that office tries not to tread too much on that side. It's the way it's got to be. But to the frustration of Councilwoman DiGirolamo, this is honestly the most bizarre 13 months I've ever spent professionally in my life trying to deal with what is going on. I cannot make no sense of this whatsoever. And I see what other towns are doing and the involvement of the merchants and the police and everybody's involved to make it better. And I hope, to her words, that everyone, just get better in 2019 on that. And I do have hope. And lastly, on a personal note, I just want to wish my daughter a happy 17th birthday tomorrow. More importantly, the countless hours of near heart attacks I've had driving with her, that she passes her driving test tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, Katie. You guys pretty much said it all. I really just, I know my comments here this evening, especially with regard to there were some pretty tense moments back in the executive session, tense moments out here. Just so council is aware, I will be remaining more consistent until things change. So consistent in my voting, consistent in my attitude, because I feel the only way that I can appropriately serve those who had elected me was to follow through on all my promises. We do not maintain consistency like cutting or mowing the grass of one private organization, and then I have a woman sitting in front of me asking why she has a $2,000 lien for privately owned property. I can't say to her she's got to pay $2,000 when we're not invoicing another institution. I will say this, because of that, come budget time, I am going to ask to make some very tough decisions, and quite frankly, I know that will cause some controversy. But them's just the breaks, and that's what happens. So consistency and accountability, that's going to be my 2019. God bless you. We do have, yeah, we have a motion for the fire department.
I'll make a motion to approve the application for activity for AL purchase.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilman DeGarmo?
Yes.
Councilman Lynch?
Yes.
Council Vice President McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Ballmer?
Yes.
So moved.
Well, there's no special use permits, but we do have an executive session, resolution to provide for an executive meeting of the town of Phillipsburg, county commissioner for the purpose of litigation.
We do?
We do.
Again?
We do. I do anticipate being in executive session for approximately 5 to 10 minutes. No action to be taken. Council Leonard, you are excused from, yeah, you do not have to go into this. 5 minutes. Motion. Motion to go into executive.
Second.
Second.
Yeah. Motion.
Whatever.
All in favor?
Aye.